We're going to talk about how to create a weave object. And there's two approaches you can do for this. You can have an object that is very straight and very linear, or you can have an object that is very curvy. And it's pretty simple to do, but it does require some close paying attention to what you're doing so that you get the right effect. So I'll show you both approaches and we'll go from there. Okay, so yesterday I sketched out a name. In this case, I'm using my son's name, Nick, just because if we try to do my name, we'll be here forever. So the first thing I have to do is think about whether I want this object to be a straight object or a curvy object. So for my first one, I'm just going to pretend that this is going to be a straight object. So for example, it could be a baseball bat, it could be a sword, it could be a paintbrush. My son is really into trains, so I think I'm going to make his a train track. So what I did was I took a ruler and just kind of in the middle of the letters, I drew a light line. Okay, I do want to leave this light because I'm going to be doing some erasing. Erasing is what achieves this illusion. And the illusion that we're trying to create is that the train track that I'm going to be inventing is going in between and over the letters. So the way to think about this is anytime the line disappears, it's going behind the object. Anytime you see the line, it's on top of the object. Right now, the line is completely on top of the letters, so that's telling the viewer that it's sitting right on top. If I were to erase all of the overlapped parts, it would look like it was completely behind. And you don't want that either or scenario. You don't want it to look like it's completely behind, but you also don't want to look like it's completely on top. So to create that balance, pick one letter. I happen to be starting back here, and you'll alternate. You'll go every other with erasing. So in this case, and it may require some redrawing as well. In this case, I'm telling the viewer that my line has started, and now because I erased the part that overlapped with the K, it's starting to look like it went behind the K. Now I'm going to draw a little bit darker so that you can see this, but it's important to note if you press really hard at this point, it's going to be more difficult to erase. So try not to press too hard with your pencil until you've gotten the results that you want to keep. Okay, so right now it looks like the line has gone behind the letter K. For the next line, because I'm trying to alternate, I'm creating a pattern of every other, I'm going to go on top of the C. So really all I have to do is just press nice and hard with my pencil until I get to the I. It takes a couple letters for this effect to really show up. And I'm just going to darken this a little bit more so that you can see it. Okay, so the path of my train tracks is coming along. All right, now I have to decide, is it going to stay on top of the I or is it going to go behind? I like the idea of it going behind, so I'm going to erase everything that's inside of the I. When you're erasing, it means the object is going behind. If you're leaving it, it's sitting on top of the letters. Okay, so it's gone under, over, under. And now I'm going to have it kind of go through the N. So I'm going to continue the line this way over it, but I'm going to stop right here because this is a good opportunity to get it to weave in and out of the N. And here's where I'm going to erase, right on this spot. And then I'll continue it out this way so that when I darken my letter N, and being very careful right there not to go through it, under it. So now this path looks like it's going in between the legs of the N. Okay. So from there, I would start adding in my details, so I could start to do some parallel lines to make it look as if it is a train track. Being mindful that, in certain places I'm not going to be able to see it. So it's fairly simple to do, but you do have to pay attention. I'll connect it on that side, connect it there, connect it there, connect it there. Okay, so it looks like a ladder right now. Maybe I should change it into a fire truck. Yeah, we'll do train. All right, so my train, I'm just going to do a little bit of a train, and forgive me, I am drawing upside down, so if it doesn't come out great, please don't judge me too harshly. So this will be the engine in the front. And notice that, you know, I'm trying to make it as if he's coming out of that end, but it's a little tricky to see. I don't want to put the train on top of the end because then that would ruin my weave look. So this will be the coal box back here. Maybe we'll do some little passengers over here. Can't forget the wheels. Little people in there. Too small to see, that's okay. Maybe this guy will be waving. Yay! And then you can start to get funky with maybe there's some mountains back here that they're going to be driving through. Ooh, we'll make them snow-capped mountains. We got some clouds coming up. Oh, we gotta have the little actual steam thing. Okay, so just by adding some simple details, we can start to create an interesting woven design. Okay, so it's pretty easy if you want a straight object. A little more complicated is if you want it to curve. So my son also really likes foxes. So I'm just going to do a light sketch of something vaguely fox-like here, and I'll have the tail kind of going through. I'll have the tail of the fox kind of coming through his name. So for this, if I'm going to do more of an organic line rather than a straight one, I'm going to start in the same way. I'm going to draw my line first, and then I'm going to go back and erase. So I'm going to pretend that this tail is kind of coming up this way. We'll go that way, this way. Ooh, we'll go there, and then come out. Wow, that's a big tail, but that's okay. And I'm going to give some poof to it too. So I'm going to actually create a double line. So this is going to mean some more thinking and some more erasing for me, but that's okay. Do a little doodad there. A little doodads on his face just to give him some fur. Okay, I got my sort of upside down fox. Okay. All right, so now I gotta really think about where I'm erasing. I like the idea, we'll do the opposite this time. His tail is gonna sit on top of the K. So in this case, I'm going to be erasing what's inside of the tail, right? So it's kind of hiding the K. But I do sort of want it to go through this. The C will overlap it. So I'm going to come up. I'm actually going to redraw that line a little bit, so it kind of sits like that, and we'll have this coming that way. That still kind of looks like it's on top of the letter, but I'm okay with it because it breaks up the letter in a nice way. And if I really exaggerate, if I emphasize this corner, it's going to look like this part is on top of this part, so I'm okay with that. I am going to have the I sit above that. So think to yourself before I tell you where am I going to be erasing. If you said inside the I to make the I sit on top, you'd be right. Okay, so the I sits on top. And then we'll have it, okay, so it's going over, under, we'll do over a little bit. I might edit this tail a little bit and we'll have it, oh, the tail's gonna get skinnier, that's okay. Half of drawing is erasing and redrawing, and that's okay. Because your ideas will change as you start working on the drawing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so we'll darken up that N nice and strong. Okay, and I might choose to continue playing around with this design a little bit. Maybe I'll add in, you know, a little paw print up here, because that's kind of cute. You know, and just think about some other fox-like things that I could add. But you can see how the tail looks like it's going through the name, okay? Now, whatever approach you take, whether it's a curvy or a straight object, the thing that I am looking for, the skill that I am grading you on, is how effectively your object goes through the letters. If it's just on top or completely behind, you're not going to get full credit in that category. Okay, when you've finished your sketches, then you can move on to transferring these onto good paper. Okay, thanks for your attention. Bye now.